Hey guys, and welcome back to the Lights Out Latest podcast. My name is Marina, and I'm here with my fellow Formula One fans and friends, Tristan, Jason, and Steven. And today we're going to take a deep dive into everything that's been going on, latest news, and the holidays for Formula One, but also in other motorsport series. Before we get into that, Happy New Year's to all of our listeners. I hope you guys
Happy
spent
New
the holidays
Year's.
well.
Happy New Year, y'all.
The very first news that I want to talk about, Alfa Romeo car launch and team name, because they totally did a 180. We talked about it on the last podcast. We were like, that team name is so weird. Like, it's just, and then they came on, I don't remember if it was before or after we filmed, and they were like, no, that isn't the kind of alluding to like, that's not our name. We just had to give them something to the FIA when we were like officially like putting in all the stuff, doing entries. And so now the name will be Stake F1 Team. Thoughts?
That's awesome.
Yep.
I love
Race
it.
world now.
Yeah, I really
It's a
like
huge step up compared to what it was before.
Oh,
big
absolutely.
like Instagram takeover posts. Like they did several posts, so like their whole Instagram is like black and green with Stake F1 Team. I think we're gonna get a black and green car.
That's gonna be dope.
We already have a black and green car. I mean, kind of. It's like green and white-ish, the Aston. I feel like depending on who you were, like a lot of our night races, you would like it'd be hard to tell the difference between like an Aston and a Mercedes because of how dark the green is and how bright it is outside. So if we have another green car, like how are you gonna tell them apart? They're all
green is also like historically an unlucky color in racing, so it's kind of interesting.
Really?
Possibly three. Again, that could be hillbilly knowledge over here. I know in NASCAR, Dale Earnhardt had like three what's it called, superstitions: never carry $50 bills, never have your race car be the color green, and your number always has to be slanted forward, not backwards. Listen, again, hillbilly knowledge, but still. If it's a different type of green though, I thought like their vibe, especially with the Stradale special scheme they had at Monza this year, was like it was like a hypercar green. It was like really like lime-ish kind of. So I don't know if they're gonna do something. Like that would stand out to me, but like
that'd be a cool car. Yeah. Well, they're going to. We'll get to see on the 5th of February. Their car launch will be on the same day as Williams' car launch is also the 5th of February. So it'll be a busy day. I'm really curious to see if Williams is going to keep their same like concepts, or if with a lot of their new sponsors, like what they have with like Duracell and stuff, like if they're going to do the Duracell thing again, or if it's going to be like in a different place. They're going to like special highlight a different sponsor.
Yeah, true.
They have golf on their team, don't they? Yeah, I was going to say, we need to see some golf throwbacks. I was heartbroken when they left McLaren, but
I love their pit crew suit. Like, if you look up their golf, like, pit crew suit, they did that a few times this year. Like, the baby blue and, like, orange helmet, it was pretty neat.
That's probably one of my favorite paint schemes.
I think they had, like, the fans pick, like, a sort of throwback livery for them for the golf.
Yeah, they did a couple special golf, livery votes.
Yeah, then they had the Duracell, the air intake, I believe, on the top of the thing. Yeah, it looks so cool. So,
just do that with the classic golf livery, you'd be good to go.
Yeah, fair enough.
Well, they did an event before the Austin Grand Prix, and they had like saw so many people when I was at the race in like hats that was like the air duct like Duracell thing, and it was so funny. God. Like they're hilarious.
It's like the cheesehead, but for F1.
I honestly think it's one of the most genius marketing strategies I've ever seen because it looks like a battery. Like it just looks so perfect. It just fits perfectly. So
yep, I agree.
I want to see all women's fans wearing a Duracell battery on top of their head.
Well, another team that's launching their car early February is Aston Martin, launching on February 12th. Now, I found funny, and I mentioned this to you guys earlier, was Formula One posted the teams that, like a recap of the teams that have launched their launch date or released their launch date. And Aston Martin had already released their launch date, and F1 just like didn't update. I don't know if like someone didn't update the graphic or like this was like a scheduled post, but I just found it really funny.
The hamster
Somebody's getting fired.
The hamster running the F1 Instagram page is he might be getting no food tonight. Who knows?
Well, and I think they made 3 New Year's posts too.
Yeah.
And then sometimes I feel like they forget certain things, and I don't think. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't know if they posted. Did they post for Michael's birthday? Michael Schumacher's birthday was
they posted
January 3rd.
something. I can't remember exactly
I
what
know
they posted.
there was the anniversary of his accident was like the 28th or the 29th of December, which is 10 years since his skiing accident. And then I don't know if they posted for his birthday as well. This is like no hate to F1 Instagram. I think it's really well run in general, but I feel like that was like a mishap. Like someone should have realized that like, oh, we're missing a team, guys.
Yeah, true.
Anyways, the final team that has released their launch date for 2024 is Ferrari. It will be February 13th. I'm really excited.
I bet it's going to be
a couple times.
I'm putting all my money on red.
All your money on red?
Yeah. It's going to be red.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, I think it's going to be sick. I mean, they never fail to perform in that regard, at least. I mean,
that's
in my opinion. You know,
their cars always look great. They just don't always work great.
True.
Unfortunately. I mean, they did say, a statement came out from Mr. said 95% of the components of the 2024 car are different to those of the 2023 car, which can be great or can be horrible. Like, I feel like there's literally no in between. They're either going to be like the worst car on the grid or the best car on the grid.
Yeah. That's totally fair. I mean, I keep seeing, like, it's always during the holiday posting, at least on Instagram, I feel like consistently one of the top two like comments on every post is like, I don't know about anything, but I know this is Ferrari's year. So it's like, I'm confident that they're going to be better, but I also am just in such a stratified mind as like, I honestly don't know who's going to be top dog next year. It's like, I fully believe it's going to be Red Bull, but at the same time, who knows? Hands in the air.
I'm not so sure.
Yeah.
I'm not so sure that it's going to be Red Bull because they failed their crash test. Each team has to go, their car has to be put through a crash test to make sure that, it's structurally sound for, the drivers and everything. And Red Bull failed. And Ferrari was the first reported team that didn't fail. So at least they have that going for them.
That's true. That is very true.
Yeah. Anyways,
yeah, I saw Alpine. They failed their crash test too, but it's early in development. I've heard some people say, "Oh, this happens. This is sometimes normal," but yeah, it just means they're going aggressive. They're changing it up. So
yeah,
we'll see.
That's true. But another reason why Ferrari could be like another like a kind of a top-ish dog this coming year is that they were able to go 30 points down on downforce compared to their Japan spec. So, 30 points up, isn't it? Yeah, I think it should be up on downforce. Which should make them faster.
I was gonna say, I'm not the tech guy. I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
Yeah, it's a good thing, but let's see where other teams, it doesn't matter if they're 30 better, if Alpine is 50 better. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
true.
We'll see. Any news is good news, and the Italian media loves to hype up Ferrari when they're good and to speak down when they're bad. So
gotta love it.
Yeah. But also, like, it is so just relative. Like, they could find 30, but like Adrian Newey said, I was not happy with the 2023 car. And I'm sitting here thinking, like, dude, you won every race but one. And you weren't happy with it? Like, I think in his mind, it was like, we didn't maximize the potential of the car. Even if we won every race, we didn't win them all by like 45 seconds. So we clearly did.
He's just got bored
right there. That's
he's just got bored with. Yeah, you got that board in the background, like, did I get everything? Didn't get the best stuff. Dang it.
Speaking of Red Bull development, Max did an interview recently where he discussed, they asked him, like, what do you say to the comments that people saying, like, the car is developed for you? Like, this car is literally just made for you. And he was like, Red Bull develop a fast car. And then myself and whoever else is driving alongside me, whether that be Sergio, Ricardo, whatever, they will set up the car the way they see fit. Like, I set up the car one way, Sergio will set it up a different way based on our driving styles to make it the fastest for our driving style, for us. And so he was like, it has nothing to do with that. And then Albon also did an interview a little bit before, and I think actually, or I'd mentioned it, where he also said kind of a similar thing, was like he just is able to put the setup in a way that's just like it's so hard to drive, but it's the fastest possible setup you can do.
I think I recently rewatched that interview. It's such a good interview because I think Albon like specifically says it's like if you play video games, right, and you have like the sensitivity of like a controller and you set it up to the maximum setting, that's what it's like driving like Max's car. Is he is like able to feel like the tiniest twitch is like his movement. I don't know. Albon put it in such a way that like it made sense to the commoner like me, but it's like but it made it look crazy. It's like that's crazy. Like
Yeah, he's able to drive like it's like super sharp and it's such fine margins. It makes it even more impressive to think about like he didn't make any mistakes this year.
No.
So like you can't point out like one time where it was like, oh, he did that and that was like a huge mistake. And that, I mean, I guess you kind of think about Singapore, but considering where Sergio was, you can't really call it a huge mistake. It's more Red Bull mistake than a
the whole team was behind.
So I just think it's really like I don't know. My grandma will forever tell me that that car is made for Max, and that Perez is bad, but he's not that bad. It's just that he doesn't have the same car as Max. I'm a Max Verstappen lover. I will forever defend his honor. So
his honor, like a chivalric knight.
Yep.
Knights of the Round Table.
Yep.
Well, same interview, Max also said they asked him if he was a team principal, what two drivers on the grid he would pick for his team, and he said Lando and Oscar, which sounds really interesting.
Wow. Make him team principal for McLaren. Come on now.
There we go.
That's a retirement option.
Yep.
Take Zach's
I think
job.
he said something to the extent of like Oscar is like one of the best rookies I've seen, which I think most people would agree with. Like he did so well.
Oh yeah.
This year and hopefully next year. I don't want his.
I haven't seen a rookie performance like that since maybe George Russell. And even George Russell, you couldn't tell because he's in that Williams. So, like, sure, he would out-qualify his teammate by, like, a half a second. But it wouldn't matter because it's for 19th. So, I think the most impressive rookie performance, like, the past 5 years.
Let's go Oscar, baby.
Yeah, for sure. I think one of the most impressive rookie performances in general, maybe like Max had a very good rookie year, but he was also like very young, so he had like a lot of mistakes that year. I think like another big thing was like Oscar didn't make very many mistakes. Like
consistent.
I don't remember a time when like he crashed the whole time and we were like, dude, he sucks. Like even at the very beginning of the year, we had those comments about like Nick DeFries and Logan Sargent. Like they're definite, like they should not be in F1 cars, but you never really heard that about Oscar. Like
I was consistent. Yeah.
So
can't even remember any big crashes he's had. Like Mick Schumacher had plenty, and other rookie drivers, you know, Latifi, and he was just he kept it on the track.
Latifi.
Anyways, another podcast, the Sky Sports F1 podcast had Karun Chandok, F1 commentator, on their podcast, and he goes. He was talking about Baku, which was the last race that Sergio won. And then he said Max came in after the race. He's talking to his dad and he is fuming. Like he spent the race right behind Checo. And although he talks about that race a lot where he's like, I learned so much during that race about the car and everything, Karun goes, he told Yost he would never let Checo beat him again, and that's exactly what happened. Not once did Checo finish. Like he didn't out-qualify him, he didn't out-race him, not once from Baku on. It was so funny. Karun's explanation of it was like he was throwing stuff. He was so pissed off. He was like, "This is happening again."
Max,
and he showed up to Miami, and he went from what, like 9th to 1st to overtake Checo. He dominated. Must have been his vengeance drive in Miami.
Yeah.
This was revenge. He was like, I sat behind you all race in Baku, like the whole time, and now I'm gonna let you cruise, act like you're winning the race, and I'm gonna come for you.
Oh man, it is cold-blooded over there.
He's won for pretty much every position. Like, I feel like I remember seeing the stat. It was like he's won from like 9 different positions or 10 different positions or something like that. And
That's an interesting stat. I hadn't even thought about that. It's like, you can start from 20 different positions. Like, who has won from the most diverse amount? Huh. That'll be a Google search for Tristan later.
That's cool. I don't know who holds that like record or stat.
I'm
like
sure maybe like Schumacher. It had to have been somebody from like the 90s.
It might be Lewis.
Maybe, yeah.
So long too. Like Lewis is probably one of Lewis's records.
You know,
I forgot about this during like our 2023 recap. I don't remember having that many like. I feel like before we had a lot of like engine penalties, like for grid penalties. A lot of people like towards the end of the year, like starting at the back of the grid. Like I don't remember that many. We had like
engines are super reliable. At least this year, they've been so reliable since the engine freeze. Like I can't remember very few mechanical DNFs. Like you go back to 2017, Alonso retired from like 51% of the races that year. I saw a stat. It was like, what was it? Like 14 races, 11.
Jeez.
It was around that, because it was 21 race calendar, 2017. Just that McLaren Honda was so bad.
Yeah.
Even going back to 2022, the first two the first race and the third race, something like that, Max DNF'd with mechanical issues, engine issues.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, McLaren doesn't have the best build quality when it comes to engines, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Happens.
Yeah.
Moving on to Formula 2, just some like brief news. Ollie Behrman is sticking with Prima, and Haas have like spoken super highly of him. So I feel like he might be one of the next like F2 drivers moving up to F1.
Rumor that Hülkenberg to Audi, and then maybe Behrman after. Who knows?
Okay.
Do you guys think that the Audi deal is going to make a big difference in the driver market for this year, going into 2025, or do you think it's just going to be
a lot of contracts are
up? It could,
maybe
for sure.
Like
it just kind of depends on where it's everyone at. Yeah. I think it also depends on like what the development is of like Audi. Not to cut you off there, just like coming in. Like if there's rumors that Audi's gonna be really good, I'm sure there's gonna be people that are gonna be wanting to jump onto that wagon, but we'll see. I mean, it just kind of depends.
Yeah. That and also like the to me it'd be like, are there any like drivers under the Audi banner already, or is there like how much money Audi's willing to put forward as well? I mean, I don't know. Money talks. That's just like the only thing you can really say.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Money definitely talks also on the way out. Like a lot of people haven't been talking about this, but I feel like maybe like one of the older drivers would take a shot at it. Like because if they come in super strong, then like Hülkenberg, for example, he's not doing much at Haas. If you come in super strong, if Audi comes in super strong, you can like win a championship or at least win races with them, like their first ever first race win back in F1.
Yeah,
that's like a huge thing. Even if it's like
in a new regulation year, it's possible.
Yeah,
totally.
Yeah. And there could be a ton of incentives in coming to Audi too, just because like it is a new team. So like you could probably just get incentives for like getting points, doing well in qualifying.
Audi wants to make a statement. This is an investment for them. They're not going to cheap
absolutely.
out.
For sure. And there's also been a lot of links between Carlos Sainz and Audi. But I found it weird because a lot of the reports were saying Ferrari want to give him a 1-year contract, but he wants at least 2 years. And I'm thinking like if he's potentially going to go to Audi, why would he sign a 2-year contract? Because then he's not going to be in their lineup for their first year. And they're probably going to, we can never say this with 100% certainty, but I feel like they're going to be like sticking with their 2026 lineup for at least the following year. So like continue the strong development coming in, at least keep that consistent.
Yeah.
So,
could be true. I mean, I don't know.
You never know.
Is that, you said he wants a 2-year contract? That's obviously like based on rumors or, just like.
I think that's Italian media.
Italian media.
Italian hate for Carlos Sainz confirmed.
Well,
who knows?
To be fair, I also think it's like super unfair that I think Fred Vasseur, I don't know who said this. I think it was Fred who's saying like they were going to be planning to do like a joint thing where like they announced both contracts at the same time, but Leclerc's contract is set to be a lot bigger, like not only like money wise and incentive wise, but also like in terms of how many years he's going to get for a contract extension. And like if they announce Carlos's 1-year deal with Leclerc's 5-year deal, like that's so shady.
Man.
No,
Yeah,
that's
you're gonna look
Yeah,
good.
that's not the right way to do it.
no, it's not.
Charles
just
Leclerc
not-
with a 5-year, $300 million contract. Oh yeah, and here's Carlos Sainz with his 1-year, $350 million. Just
Yeah.
gotcha.
No,
Yeah.
it would be so shady. I don't know. I feel like it would be like a clear sign to like here's our we've always said like the Ferrari doesn't have a number 1, number 2, like they're just like very evenly matched, and Ferrari doesn't
That
usually
would be
pick
a sign.
Like that would be a sign. That would be them saying Leclerc's our number 1, Sainz is our number 2.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Man, I would feel bad for Sainz on that one.
I'm gonna hand off to whoever wants to take charge on Formula E news because that's not my strongest.
Yeah, sure. I'll talk a little bit.
Take the lead.
So we have Nick DeVries, who is a previous Formula E drivers champion, returning to Formula E. Although he will be with back of the pack team, he's going to Mahindra Racing,
boy.
which finished 10th last year out of 11 teams.
Ooh.
So not looking too exciting for him.
He got so screwed over.
Yeah.
Why?
Did.
Yeah, he's a 2-time champ. Like, how does he? I don't know. Like, what logistics was there that he could get signed with them? I don't know.
Sorry, I got that wrong. He's actually only a one-time champ. I
Oh,
wrote the
one-time
notes.
champ.
Sorry.
Oh.
Yeah.
That changes
He won
everything.
with Mercedes, who are now McLaren Formula E team, and they already have a full driver
Is he
lineup.
a Formula 2 champ as well? F2.
Yeah,
F3?
he is. Isn't
Yeah,
he?
yeah, he did. He
not
won
come
it
in
like
with the same
2019,
caliber
right?
as Oscar of like being like
2019.
winning the series. It was not like the same. I thought it was the same. I may be wrong. I thought he came
won in 2019.
Yeah, for
4 years.
but like I feel like he came in with a lot of hype, and then he just like it came into F1 with so much hype, and then he didn't perform, and it really like I don't know screwed him over like future wise because like you came here, didn't perform even though you're Formula E champ. Like, how do we know that you're still as good as you were? If that makes sense, you know?
He had one stellar weekend in that Williams in 2022, and then rolled up to AlphaTauri this year and just never found the pace.
Yep.
I mean, everybody has bad races, and Daniel Ricciardo even had bad years. But even Daniel Ricciardo in that McLaren had his standout moments. You know, the win at Monza, and you know he got like a podium for Renault. Like, even during bad years, good drivers find a way. And it's safe to say that De Vries is a veteran driver. He's like 27? Like, he's older than Max Verstappen, right?
29.
Yeah.
Dang.
So he's a veteran driver, and I don't think he deserves much more time than he did. Maybe a complete season of F1. Maybe he shouldn't have been taken out of the seat halfway through.
He's actually about to be 29. He turns 29 February 6th.
Wow.
Yeah. That's crazy.
So,
I didn't think he was that old. Wow.
Yeah, he's old.
Not a ton of leeway.
No. Yeah.
Yeah, he's just he wasn't given. I think what would have been right was for him to be given the whole year. But when we talked about it from like what race 3 or 4, people already talking about like he's getting sacked. There's no way he's staying. Like he's leaving midway through the season, and everybody was right.
Yeah.
Daniel Ricciardo already
do the
stepped in
same
and did pretty good.
with Checo.
Yeah.
I was expecting do exactly the same with Checo. Not gonna lie.
Oh, you thought they were gonna get rid of Checo?
Dude, everyone's prediction. I was looking at F1 posted a thing. It was like, "What's your boldest 2024 prediction?" And there's like hundreds of people that commented Checo out of a race seat halfway through the season.
Wow.
Dang, that's crazy.
Who would have come in? That's what I want to know.
I mean, does Ricardo actually have a contract? Like, or is he just kind of like
he's in AlphaTauri?
He's in AlphaTauri, so okay, all right.
Red Bull contract, is he not? Like, I feel like his contract is through Red Bull. It's like
that's what I mean. Yeah,
since they own both teams, that's kind of like how the Gasly and the Brendan Hartley and the Alex Albon contracts went. Is that they're for both? Both teams.
Yeah, Verstappen when he switched with
Verstappen, Kvyat.
Yeah, it was the same deal. They just kind of flipped in the middle of the season. Yeah.
Yeah, so Red Bull could do that again with Ricardo and Perez if they want it.
I don't feel like Checo would want to. I feel like Checo would be like, I'm out. Like, I'm not going to AlphaTauri. I'm just dipping.
Yeah.
And
No,
Max,
no.
You don't get paid. I mean, what else? He can't really fill another seat, you know?
Yeah.
I mean,
You can go to Formula E.
I fully agree with you. Like, I'm sure he would be very upset. But also, like, if you don't say yes to that contract, first of all, you lose all connection with Red Bull, I'm sure. They'd be like, all right, then you're done. Like, we don't want you.
Yeah.
And then B, it's like, I don't know. Again, this is the first year where the same grid is moving over to the next year. Is that trend gonna continue, or you know?
I don't think Red Bull would want him in AlphaTauri. Like if Red Bull take him out of AlphaTauri, out of Red Bull, I think they're gonna want Liam Lawson or some young driver in that AlphaTauri.
I agree.
Why do they have Perez? He's obviously not good enough for the top team.
Yeah.
So just get rid of him.
Yeah.
He would just be
straight to Formula E.
Just like Albon in 2020, they just got rid of him. They didn't bump him down. He was gone.
Yeah. They're not afraid to do it.
Nope.
They're the one team on the grid that you can be sure would make that kind of call. Like, you can rumor about it all you want for all the other teams, but they would rarely, like, it's very rare that someone will make that kind of a call.
Mm-hmm.
But Red Bull will do it. They'll 100%.
Yeah.
You're not performing and you're gone. And I feel like my expectations for Checo going into next year.
It's like the Real Housewives of Max Verstappen up in here with Red Bull.
The real hot. You cannot be saying that. That's crazy.
It's like The
I need
Bachelor.
to tweet that. That should be. We should tweet. That's gonna be a. That would be such a. Oh my god, that would go viral.
Literally, it would be like looking at like, okay, so on this season of Max Verstappen Bachelor, who's gonna be who's gonna get the rose from Max Verstappen or Red Bull?
Who's gonna get Max's rose to be his teammate?
Exactly. Checo's out. Who's in?
Who's in?
All right, we gotta cover a little bit of the rest of the Formula E news.
It's definitely gonna be Daniel. There's no other choice.
I don't know what that relationship would be like. That marriage.
What else we got in? What else we got in Formula E there? What else?
Just real quick, Jake Dennis, who won the championship last year, is returning to Andretti Formula E team, who did really well. They didn't win the Constructors' Championship, but they're super consistent with Jake Dennis. Even though he only had 2 wins, he was just on the podium like constantly. So that's really cool to see Andretti, one of their drivers win an FIA World Championship. But
love to see it.
Another thing for F1, we'll see. NIO is a Chinese EV car maker. They're pulling out of the sport, and the team was bought out by like another Chinese sporting company that runs different racing series over there in China. So they're being renamed to ERT. That's the team Dan Ticktum is at. If you all remember the Ferrari F2 driver who got like unceremoniously kicked out of Red Bull's driver academy. He's now at ERT Formula E team, who is not a good Formula E team either. So that's it for Formula E news. We also have some exciting World Endurance Championship news. So Mick Schumacher is on Alpine's WEC team with on the 6-driver team. They're running 2 cars. Nick DeVries, Formula E teammate Eduardo Montoya, joins Kvyat and Romain Grosjean for the 2-car Lamborghini like hypercar IMSA entry. So Grosjean is going to be in the IMSA entry with 2 other drivers, except for Le Mans. I believe Grosjean will be at Le Mans this year with Lamborghini.
Nice.
So he always said it was a dream of his. So I don't know, anybody excited for something to happen at Le Mans this year?
Oh, absolutely.
For sure.
I have yet to complete. I don't know if anyone has ever in this group completed the 24-hour watch to actually watch the whole thing.
No.
Understandably, that's very hard to do, but
yeah, I've had friends who've done it, but no.
When it falls, we could totally do like a watch with us.
Maybe like the nighttime section.
Let us know in the comments.
If people want to watch, comment down below.
Yeah.
So, Lights Out Latest Twitch channel is coming up. That's what's going to happen.
Get on the Insta Live.
On YouTube, you can, right?
Lights Out Latest Live. That's hilarious.
Lights Out Latest Live.
Gotta love it.
Love it. There's a lot of world endurance, like F1 drivers moving to WEC.
Oh, yeah.
Tons. Robert Kubica is going to be in WEC.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
like I mentioned, Grosjean, Kvyat. You know, a
Alpine
couple
F1
former
team.
WEC drivers are in F1, like Hulkenberg, and I know Mark Webber, he raced there. Brendan Hartley, he's still involved in endurance racing. I don't know which team he's at, but he's definitely racing.
Yeah.
Antonio Giovinazzi returning to Ferrari. I'm glad to see he's doing
He
well.
won Le Mans with Ferrari last year.
Oh yeah.
I have a picture with him. We went, really funny story. Side break. Really funny story. I went down for breakfast at the Abu Dhabi GP 2021. I was like so excited because Max was definitely gonna be champion. I knew it in my heart. I was foreshadowing events.
No doubt.
And
No doubt.
and I go down for breakfast early, and me and my dad, my mom wasn't ready. My dad goes, Luca, my brother, just wait with your mom and come down in a second. I walk down the stairs, go to the breakfast buffet, and there, behold, is Antonio Giovinazzi leaving breakfast. I take a picture with him. He leaves. Not 5 seconds later, my brother shows up, and I'm like, Luca.
Wow.
I just
You just missed
Giovinazzi, and
Italian
he was
Jesus.
so mad.
Italian Jesus.
Jesus.
Awesome.
Oh man.
So he's like really, really nice person.
I was gonna say,
And-
he seems like one of the nicest guys.
Yeah, and I'm happy for him, like with WEC and with Le Mans, sorry, like being able to like finally get the recognition and he deserves. Like he's a good driver. He's not a bad driver.
Oh, yeah.
He just was put in a bad machine. Like
And
even
then after
Kimi
he got-
couldn't do much more.
Yeah. After he got kicked out of F1, he went to Formula E. He was in a bad team there too. He literally like said, "Oh, driving is painful." I
Oh.
remember there's some headline like that when he was in Formula E. So I'm so happy to see him.
I mean, nobody
Back
wants
on
to run
top.
at the back of the pack, you know? It's
Yeah,
just
no.
facts.
But he
Yeah.
just never figured out the car. Like he was getting beat by his teammate. He was in a bad team. It was really bad.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yo.
it'd be like that sometimes.
What about NASCAR? You want to hear about
Let's-
NASCAR?
Well, let's
I
talk
do.
about Tristan. Let's talk about Tristan.
Nah, there wasn't really that much going on. I mean, obviously, if you guys do know, 2023 champion Ryan Blaney, he did win the championship, and this December, it was December 13th, I believe, he proposed to his girlfriend, and she said yes. So that was obviously it's been an amazing postseason for Ryan. Such a young kid too. So young kid, he's older than me, but like,
And afterward is kind of young.
well, yeah. I mean, I don't know. He's like, I think 27 or something like that. So,
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you know, he knocked that off. He did that. We did have some unfortunate news again. Again, history guy here. One of the pioneers of the sport did pass away. Kale Yarborough. I gotta send you guys some videos. There's a really funny video on YouTube of him. He was notorious in the race car to mimic the noise of the car as he raced. So he'd be in the corner like, like there was video evidence in like 1978 or something
Gosh, that
of
is
him
funny.
going. It's awesome. But yeah,
Oh,
three-time
man.
Daytona 500 champion, three-time champion of the sport. Actually, four-time Daytona 500 champion, and he passed away unfortunately on New Year's Eve. So 2023 got one last sucker punch right in there, right at the end. And the only other thing is actually international news. Pretty cool. If you guys do follow V8 Supercars, Shane Van Gisbergen is going to be moving up to NASCAR full time. Obviously, he won in his first ever Cup Series race last year at the Chicago Street Course, which was super cool. It's like, just imagine getting in a car for the first time in a whole new series and just whooping everyone. It's kind of embarrassing for NASCAR, but still, like he's awesome. He's signing on full time with a Xfinity Series ride, which is basically F2 for NASCAR. And then he's also going to run some select Cup Series races as well with Trackhouse, who is, as we know, owned by Pitbull and Justin Marks. So should be cool. Very short, a little bit of news for the holidays for NASCAR. The biggest one to me was Ryan Blaney getting engaged. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, cool. That's the rundown for what I collected on the holiday news for NASCAR.
2024 New Year's resolution: get more into NASCAR.
Let's go.
I'm excited for Shane.
Going to Port Royal. It's not NASCAR, but it's American motorsports, and we're gonna go. That's what's gonna happen.
Hey, we gotta start from the bottom and go to the top, man.
When's Pocono? Is Pocono June?
Okay, so I actually bought my dad and I tickets for Pocono. There is plenty of seats next to us. Up to you guys, but it is in July. It's actually in July. So I think I have it written down right here. Yeah, I have July 14th. That's a Sunday, so it's actually the 13th or the 12th through the 14th.
That's a
Doable.
bet. That's a bet.
Doable.
Doable.
I mean, again, they're very affordable. So
Tricky triangle.
The tricky triangle, yes, sir.
The tricky triangle.
Before we last motorsport category, let's hop to IndyCar.
Yeah. So I mean, not too much going on here. I mean, mostly IndyCar Next news. But one of the coolest things that I saw was that there's going to be a new woman driver at IndyCar Next for the first time in the series since 2007. So that's that's going to be. I hope I'm pronouncing this right. Hunkos Hollinger, who is joining IndyCar Next. I believe she's joining. Let's see. So she graduated from USF Pro Championship, 2000 Championship, which I'm kind of wondering if that's University of South Florida. I'd have to look into that. But
no, that's US Formula Pro.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's like the
Makes
series
sense.
below. That's like F3 of IndyCar.
Oh, okay.
And then there's
Makes sense.
F4, which is USF 1600. But yeah, go on.
Okay. Yeah. So she'll be joining. She'll be driving.
Doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it said graduate, so I was like, is that like USF, like Florida? But no, I guess not.
Fair enough.
Anywho, she'll be driving a number 76 for, let's see, what team would she be driving for?
Well, I think, is Junko the team? And then, what's the girl? Is that the girl's name?
Oh, yeah, no, you're right. It's Hugo Hollinger Racing. Yeah, you're right. And Lindsay Brewer is the name. My bad. No,
yeah, that's what I was going to say. I knew the name, but it wasn't. Yeah. Lindsay. Okay.
So she'll be driving that. Also, we have Bill Abel, who's going to be starting he's going to be bringing back his IndyCar Next team for next season, which is pretty cool also because he's actually planning to move in full-time in IndyCar in 25. So that would be cool to see as well. Then
he was a 500 only entry before that, right?
Yeah. He had 1 at 500, doing 1 500 this year, and then 25 moving full-time.
Does IndyCar have many barriers to entry like Formula 1 does? Is there
That's a good question.
I know NASCAR, we have the charter system. That's about it. As long as you have the money, you can race.
Yeah, as long as you have the money and you could show up with a chassis, you can race.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
That's one of the big differences to F1 to for a lot of the other series because F1 has the points you have to have. You have to if you win F2, you get it. I think if F3 winners get it as well. Now you also have to be 18 after Max came to F1. You have to be 18 to be in F1. So there's a lot of new things, kind of recent that.
That's definitely from the driver's point of view. I was actually kind of more talking from a team point of view because obviously we know Andretti's trying to get an F1, but that's difficult. They can't just show up and be we're here.
Yeah.
So interesting because I think what's it called? Andretti. I don't know if they need credibility behind them, but they also have to get voted. They have to be allowed to go in. So
that's difficult because none of the teams are going to want to give up a percentage of say their shares or their revenue to a new team on the grid because
James Vowles was very against that. Otmar Safnauer said Alpine was still double digits below the cost cap in millions, which is ridiculous as Renault backs them, but that's another thing.
Another topic.
That is fair. I mean, other than that, like I just said, just a bunch of IndyCar Next news. However, when I was doing research, I was surprised. I was contemplating even putting him on here just because I didn't think he was as, I'm not going to say as popular, but as, I don't know, up in your face, I guess you would say. Scott McLaughlin has been up to a lot this past off season. So he played in the PGA Pro-Am. He competed in that. He got another dog. He got married, I believe. And I believe he also moved into a new house, if I'm not mistaken, as well. So he had a lot going on there, which is pretty cool to see.
That's a lot.
That guy is Fernando Alonso of IndyCar because he just won so much in V8 Supercars, and he comes over to IndyCar and he's lighting it up here.
Yeah,
I was gonna compare him to Fernando and then Juan Pablo Montoya. It's that kind of anywhere he goes, he's successful in a sense. Yeah. So I wanted to say Kyle Larson as well, but that's again.
I'm excited for his 500 entry. I'm so excited to
absolutely.
see it.
He's
gonna do the double. He's gonna do the 500 and then the Coke 600 on the same day.
Oh. Yep. They're gonna be I think the same rough color scheme essentially for the two of them, so it's super cool.
Yeah.
Scott McLaughlin, what a guy.
One final thing I was just gonna mention too, on kind of I know we were talking about before the differences between F1 and IndyCar. I just saw that IndyCar's hybrid. I won't want to say powertrain, but their hybrid components are delayed again. So they're gonna be delayed
Yeah.
until at least the Indy 500. So
Dang.
It's
because
not
of
even gonna run in Indy. I
No?
don't even
Huh.
know if it'll come. I doubt they're even gonna show up this year.
yeah,
The new hybrid engines, and Honda's threatening to pull out because it costs too much,
yeah.
and they
Real
want
engine
road
debacle
relevance.
in IndyCar right now.
Yeah, they might just go to
Mhm.
spec engines, pay one manufacturer, just be sole supplier.
Yeah,
Oof.
kind of stinks, but
That would change.
Oh
That'd be
man,
like a big, like different dynamic.
absolutely.
Yeah.
One
That's a
less thing that
DRS. Well, actually, I already have DRS, but
you're like competing for, like, because in F1 you have so many different engines, and like that's a factor. You know,
Yeah.
we've seen
huge
it like
deal.
rates. It's a huge thing. But like if you take away that and it's like standard, then that's like one less thing that you can change or have an advantage on. It
Again,
could be beneficial to racing.
that's one of my biggest complaints with the new NASCAR cars because they're all they're basically just kart engines. Like they're
Yeah.
hey, NASCAR makes them for you. You can tweak it a tiny bit, but there's no more engine. There's no more engine builders, nothing like that. Like it eliminated a complete job, first of all, and second of all, it's creativity just completely dips down.
That's going to be huge with the new F1 engine regs. Doesn't the engine freeze go away and teams could develop better engines throughout the season, just like better aero throughout the season?
I'm not 100% sure, but I think so.
Because I remember like 2017, 2018 when I started watching before the engine freeze, like you'd show up every weekend and be like, oh, Mercedes better top speed. And then next year Ferrari were so fast on the straights in 2019. Like it was a constant development, like every weekend, like who's going to be faster. And then that also causes all the reliability issues as teams always trying out new stuff. But yeah, Marina's point, it takes away that element of competition.
Absolutely.
Well, let's end off before we finish for today on some of the things you mentioned it a little bit on some of the NASCAR and IndyCar drivers, what they've been up to over the holidays. F1 drivers, they're quite busy over the holidays doing things
they are
can't do during the season. Like Max was after the New Year's, he spent the New Year's in Switzerland with some of him and Kelly's friends, and then he went skiing. And he even joked about it on the Red Bull, like Talking Bulls podcast. He was like, I'm going skiing, and I really hope I don't have to make a phone call to Red Bull being like, I can't race next year because I did something to hurt myself.
Broken leg or something like that, yeah.
I heard rumors that some drivers' contracts like say they can't do stuff like that.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Yep.
Lewis was skydiving a lot, several times. He also has like a rumored new girlfriend. He spent New Year's in Brazil. Charles got a brand new Ferrari. Really nice Ferrari. Beautiful.
Love to see it.
Was that the 812? Do you know which one it was?
It was the 812, yeah.
812 super fast.
I have to check again.
What a name.
It's wonderful. I like that a lot of both of their cars, both Charles and Carlos, they have cars that like they're very detail oriented about it, and they like pick very specific. Even if it's like, I think Charles his pista is like an original. Like I think I'm could be wrong, but I feel like it's like 101, especially that exact model it's like just his. But like they're super specialized. They do the detail. He has like the number 16 on the side of it, and like I know Carlos wrote like, I don't know if he wrote chili or he put like chili peppers on like the side of his door. Like it's they're so detailed about it. I think it like makes it super specific. It's also
so cool that they're into it.
Nice for them to sell it later on in a long time.
Man.
Like
that's gonna be sold a lot.
I specialized it to where like it literally says chili on it. Like
that's gonna be like tons of money.
Big time money. Money bags.
Last but not least, once again, George Russell spent his New Year's with Fernando Alonso.
It was such a cute picture. I love that.
Romance.
It's so cool, but it doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. Like it feels like every year it hits me like out of nowhere. They just don't seem like that. Like they're like great friends on the grid. Like you see, like Max and Fernando are like pretty good friends, and like they talk about like Fernando's talked several times, being like, I will only do Le Mans with Max, and stuff like that. But you don't see like George and Fernando hang out all the time, so it like always catches me off guard. It doesn't make sense.
Like you're not gonna see Max and Lewis hanging out, or Lewis and Alonso hanging out. But I wouldn't have guessed George and Fernando.
The picture's really funny to me too, is because like Fernando looks like he's literally having like the time of his life. I think he's got like the like, I forget what they're called.
The noisemaker,
yeah, noisemaker. And then George is, I'm assuming, is that George's girlfriend? I'm not really caught up with. Yeah. He's just kind of Max and relaxed in the back. Fernando literally looks younger than him too. Like it's crazy.
Oh,
it's also,
man.
like it feels like George is like someone who's like very put together, like more on the uptight side. It feels like he like just barely was letting himself go when that picture was taken. Like I don't know to what extent it went throughout the night, but like it felt like he was still very much like stiff. Like I don't know.
Yeah, well.
I would love to see George go crazy in the party. That would be something.
It's giving me flashbacks to the leaked like Toto Wolff video of him like jumping off the stage. And what was that, 2021?
What?
Yeah, search that up. Like
I'll have to look that up.
I've read, I think it was Mark Presley wrote The Mechanic. He was a mechanic for McLaren F1 team. And he said, yeah, the F1 parties are insane. It just all the PR team keeps it under wraps because you can't have that get out. Toto's video like leaked. So
no, that would be a PR
great.
nightmare.
Yeah.
I'm sure when Bottas was at Mercedes, he probably got naked a couple of times. You know, it's like
he made $100,000 for charity off of pictures of his ass.
That's awesome.
Good
That's
for him.
Amazing. That's impressive.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
So, anyways, let's do quote of the day.
Oh boy.
Jason did really well at this last year, but I'm hoping
I got one. I got the most recent.
That is true. I'm hoping
we need to start tracking points and do like a championship for this.
Yes, we should. Let's championship. We'll start doing points.
Boom.
All right. So he wants to play bumper cars or something.
I swear, this is
I recognize the quote.
This is for sure fresh. Not like fresh, but
5 years is fresh. Then yeah.
I would say so.
Sebastian Vettel.
No,
that's a good guess.
That's a good guess, though.
He wants to play bumper cars or something.
I'm stuck between two drivers.
Lewis Hamilton.
You know, I'm gonna go Max.
No, it is Max.
Oh, that's my first guess. I thought that was too obvious.
I'm not even thinking Max.
I was thinking Max or Fernando. I was like, oh, it's gotta be Max. I hear the accent.
It's a harder one. I was going to say, like, think of someone who says this kind of like random stuff over the radio.
What race was it? What was the context?
I don't know exactly the context, but I do know it was the British Grand Prix in 2017.
Okay, all right.
That's a further research question for us.
Maybe another Google search for Tristan.
Yep.
We should count. It's like count how many times in one episode we say a Google search for Tristan.
Yeah. We gotta have a counter going.
We gotta have a whole whiteboard. Yeah. I'll be turning around mid-episode. All right, there we go. All right.
Well, thank you guys so much for watching the Lights Out Latest podcast. If you want more from us, we have a Tech Tuesday, Wag Wednesday, Throwback Thursday, Fun Fact Friday, and Man on the Street videos on our Instagram and TikTok at Lights Out Latest. And we have the podcast every Monday at 11:30 Eastern. Bye, guys.
See ya.
Bye.